Is punishment an effective behaviour modification strategy in children? According to Sampson and her colleagues, the answer to this is no. The punishment is not delivered in an appropriate manner to reach its goal. If this is the case, serious moral questions are raised regarding the use of punishment targeted at our most vulnerable group of people, children. While many sectors of society, such as schools, are moving towards non-punitive means of behaviour modification, within many homes, parents continue to use punishment as a primary means of discipline. In many parts of the world, including Australia, this is deemed to be consistent with a parent's right to raise their child as they reasonably see fit. This is perhaps most worrisome in regards to the use of physical punishment, otherwise referred to as corporal punishment, as parental corporal punishment lies closely on a continuum with physical abuse. The following discussion therefore aims to utilise one paper by Elizabeth Gershoff that thoroughly examines without bias this behaviour modification strategy of parental corporal punishment. The rationale behind Gershoff's study is to provide a scope of both positive and negative outcomes associated with corporal punishment, as opposed to purely negative outcomes as the majority of similar studies have previously focused on. By focusing on and optimally providing solutions to the weaknesses in the current literature on corporal punishment, a clear understanding of its role in development of children aims to be gathered. This in turn will have significant implications for effective behaviour modification strategies for children. Gershoff's study aimed to investigate the following: summarise the empirical data on associations between parental corporal punishments and children's behaviours, review why such associations are expected, and identify issues that require future research. In this paper, Gershoff predicted that the following behaviours and experiences would be associated with parental corporal punishment applied during childhood: immediate compliance, decreased moral internalisation, increased aggression, the presence of delinquent and antisocial behaviours, decreased quality in parent-child relationships, the presence of mental health problems, the child further becoming a victim of physical abuse, and the child becoming abusive later in life as an adult. Gershoff's research involved an extensive review of all the available studies that examine the associations between parental corporal punishment and child behaviours. This excluded publications that did not include data, included physical abuse, included other forms of discipline, and involved people administering the punishment other than parents. After applying this criteria, Gershoff used a sample of 88 studies in her meta-analyses of the dependent variables. All of the selected studies include parents and their child or children as the participants. The results of the study align completely with the predicted associations between parental corporal punishment and child behaviours, with all these associations being undesirable with the exception of immediate compliance. Gershoff was able to determine that the associations between parental corporal punishment and child behaviours and experiences are in fact significant and provide a strong argument for the negative effects that corporal punishment has on child development. This has serious implications for responsibly recommending or discouraging the use of parental corporal punishment as a strategy of behaviour modification amongst children. In examining Gershoff's study, it is important to consider the paper's areas of strengths and weaknesses. Gershoff's study is particularly significant as it attempts to alter current standards of corporal punishment studies, as the majority of these studies are focused on only negative outcomes for children. She has instead directed her examination towards both negative and positive associations. This is often problematic in a meta-analysis, as the potential bias in scientific journals to publish only negative effects could sway the resulting conclusions of this study. Gershoff countered this by taking into account the number of unpublished studies with null results, allowing retrievability bias to be reduced to a minimum acceptable level of significance, and therefore providing a fair balance of data representing both negative and positive effects of parental corporal punishment. Perhaps the most crucial weakness of this study is the inability of the meta-analysis to support causal conclusions regarding parental corporal punishment. The paper instead relies on examining associations between parental corporal punishment and child behaviours, as opposed to determining the outcomes of punishment. The sample of participants involved in the study examined are problematic, as the majority of instances of corporal punishment is used with children younger than 5 years of age, and therefore doesn't provide an adequate scope of age groups to draw conclusions from. Furthermore, within the selected studies, the use of corporal punishment is self-reported by parents, rather than through observation, and therefore has the potential to be underreported given society's often critical judgment of individuals' use of physical discipline methods. Where to from Gersow's findings? The meta-analysis involved in this paper provides a methodology for further examination of numerous other forms of parental discipline. It is recommended that future studies similar to this should attempt to isolate the numerous other influences at play when parental corporal punishment is used, so as to increase the certainty of the causation of corporal punishment on child behaviour. So, is punishment an effective behaviour modification strategy in children? According to Gersow's study of parental corporal punishment, the answer to this is a very clear no. Thank you for listening.